So America PAC is going to keep going after this election and be preparing for the midterms and any intermediate elections, as well as looking at elections at the district attorney level and, basically judicial sort of level.
All right, folks, let's talk about the Wisconsin Supreme Court race because things have been heating up for quite a bit. Judge Susan Crawford has been dropping some of the more scathing political ads that I have ever seen, and they are resonating with a lot of moderate voters. So let's dive in and take a look at some of these ads, and you will see why Trump and Elon Musk are going crazy. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below.
It was just a one-time thing. That's what Brad Schimel said when he gave a, quote, sweet bargain to a man who sexually assaulted a 10-year-old girl. The sex predator served just 18 months in prison for his crime and got out. A few weeks ago, he was convicted of sexually assaulting a child again. And that was just one time Brad Schimel let a sex predator loose on our kids. So why would we ever give him another chance? Brad Schimel, too extreme for the Supreme Court.
This is exactly the kind of messaging that Democrats and left-leaning candidates should be using every single time. She's not mincing words, she's not playing defense. She's going straight for the jugular, as you can't assume that voters are just going to connect the dots on their own. And the thing is, this isn't just a one-off. These ads have been consistent throughout the entire election process. It's not like she put out one strong ad and then went back to some watered-down, both sides nonsense. She actually understands that you have to call these people out on their crap every single time, and the fact that her campaign keeps this energy up, it's a sign that she knows what's at stake.
Wisconsin politics, particularly in judicial elections, to see somebody like Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, wading in to try to buy a justice on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. I have a lot of confidence in Wisconsin voters. I think they're going to see through this effort and do the right thing and make sure that we have a fair and impartial Supreme Court after all of this. But, it's really unprecedented.
Of all of the issues, there are a lot of issues that are going to be before the state Supreme Court in Wisconsin. That's why it's such an important race. Why does Elon Musk care about this race?
Well, I think that this is the first shot across the bow. Wisconsin is a really purple state. It's always a swing state. And I think Elon Musk saw an opportunity here to buy a Supreme Court in a state. And I don't think he's going to stop at this one if he's successful. I think that people should be paying attention to this race. It's really a critical race for the people of Wisconsin, but I think people across the country should be paying attention to this.
That's why we're talking about it. Absolutely. And I ask this because at the federal level and here in Washington, we're seeing a lot of ways Musk is getting involved in the federal government, destroying federal services and getting rid of federal workers in a way that in some cases might help his companies. And there was this report, it was in January, that Musk's electric car company Tesla sued Wisconsin to challenge a state law forbidding manufacturers from owning dealerships. Now, 8 days later, Musk wrote on his social media site, very important to vote Republican for the Wisconsin Supreme Court to prevent voting fraud, which feels very in your face, but it's, I think for anyone watching who's just not as attuned to this, they're wondering, is this personal? Is this related to his business? Could it be both? What do you make of that?
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably both. And you're right, that timing is certainly suspicious at the least. And it's also just he tweeted that tweet just 3 days after my opponent, Brad Schimel, was in Washington, D.C., attending big dollar galas in Washington. He came back and bragged about how he has been wearing out his knee pads, begging on his knees for conservative billionaires like Elon Musk to fund his campaign.
She said he went to donor parties and got on his knees begging for money. This is the kind of rhetoric we need in these races. No tiptoeing or soft language, just calling it like it is. You have to clown these people instead of validating their extreme views. If this was Chuck Schumer, he would just cower and just hit the same typical talking points. Because she has just gone after him so aggressively, he simply has nowhere to hide and has been on the defensive a majority of his campaign.
How corrupt is Brad Schimel? Let's count the ways. 1. Schimel gave a plea deal to a man caught with child porn after the man's lawyer gave his campaign thousands of dollars. 2. Schimel let 6,000 rape kits sit untested for years, then lied about it. 3. Now Elon Musk is trying to buy Schimel a seat on the Supreme Court because he knows Schimel always helps his big campaign donors. That's Brad Schimel, and he's way too corrupt for the Supreme Court.
Another great ad that just calls out what these people are doing. The election is today, and hopefully by tomorrow we will have good news in that Susan Crawford has a strong victory. Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more.